All right. So last week we ended class, right, with polygons, if I'm not mistaken, angles in polygons, interior angles, and also exterior angles in polygons. Do you all remember the formula from last week? Say, flip back in your notes and see if you can actually find the formula to calculate the interior angles in a polygon. It should look something like this. This is the formula you're looking for. Let me see if I can write it a little bit bigger. To calculate the interior angles in a polygon, we're supposed to use n minus 2, which goes in brackets. And then after you work out the brackets, you multiply by 180 degrees, right? So make sure that's the formula that we're going to be using today. So on the screen over here, right, part A, you will notice a missing angle here, right? Now, this one's a pretty simple question, and you won't really need to use this formula because let's count up the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know in part A, that is a quadrilateral. We don't need a formula to figure out how much degrees it is when we add up all 4 angles in a quadrilateral, because we were taught that in SCA. So we know it's supposed to be how much? 360 degrees, right? So without using this formula, do you all think you all can find angle X for me, right? Let's see how much we get when we calculate angle X. We just have to add up 88, 45, and 70 and minus it from 360. A very easy beginner's question for today's class. Don't forget to put your answers on the screen, right? Right, a lot of correct answers are coming up. So when we add 70, 45, and 88, I am getting 203 degrees. So we minus it from 360, right? And when we do that, we're getting 157 degrees. So X is supposed to be, let me write it here, not 157, 157 degrees. So do you all remember last week that I was trying to show you something, that there's a clear difference between interior angles and exterior angles. What we just discussed was interior angles, because all of these angles that are in front of you are inside the shape. But what about the exterior angles? Remember, I told you to pretend you're driving and you skate off the road like this, right? Do you all think you all can calculate all the exterior pink angles? For example, if here is 45, remember a straight line is 180 degrees. If here is 70 and there's a straight line, couldn't you all find the missing angles over here? By minusing all the interior angles from 180, you will get the corresponding exterior angles. Right? So, and we know all the interior angles in a 4-sided shape add up to how much? 360 degrees. Calculate all the exterior angles, and then we will add them up, and I'll refresh your memory on what we get. All right, so for recording purposes, we calculated all the exterior angles by minusing it from 180. And you will notice that when you add the exterior angles, when you add the 135, the 110, the 23, and 92, we add them up, the exterior angles add up to 360 degrees. Now, I think I showed you that last week, that exterior angles always add up to 360. But I want to do it a few times so it sticks in your head, right? So the interior angles for a quadrilateral add up to 360, but the exterior angles also add up to what? 360. And this creates the illusion that interior angles are always equal to exterior angles. But you're going to learn that soon that is not true. Interior angles can change. The more sides a shape has, the larger the exterior angles. But the larger the interior angles. But the exterior angles will always add up to 360. For example, in question B, this is not a quadrilateral. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. That's a pentagon. So to figure out how much all the degrees in a pentagon adds up to, we use this formula. N minus 2 multiplied by 360. And N is the amount of sides the shape has. So replace the N with 5. You have to say 5 minus 2. That will give you what? 3. 3 multiplied by, sorry, not one, okay, small mistake, guys. Not 360, 180, my mistake. A little distracted this morning, right? 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 multiplied by 180 is 540 degrees. So when you add up all the interior angles today, you're supposed to get 540. Do you think you can find angle X for me? If by knowing that all the inside angles supposed to add up to 540, right? Add up 1, 2, 3, 4, and minus it from 540. 105 plus 131 plus 84 plus 153. Right. Right. And when you do that, you're supposed to get 67 degrees. Make sure you physically see it on your calculator, right? Now, there's just one last proof, right? The interior angles add up to 540. Let's quickly find the exterior angles. So what you have to do is extend the lines like that. Pretend you're driving around the shape and you're sliding off the road. Find this angle, find this angle. Space here, right? Right. So on the screen, we have all the exterior angles. And I bet you, if you add up all the exterior angles, the ones that are outside the shape, when you add them up, the exterior angles will give you 360, which kind of proves the point. For the first shape, the interior angles was 360. For the second shape, which had more sides, the interior angles added up to 540. But that doesn't change the fact that the outside angles always add up to 360. All right, so for part C, I'm not going to ask you to calculate the exterior angles. I just simply want the value of X. Notice this shape is I think it's a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So use the formula to calculate the values of all the interior angles. Then find X. All right, so remember, we're replacing N with 6 because there are 6 sides. So it's 4 multiplied by 180, which is 720. We add up all the angles here. And when we add up all the angles that are in the shape, we're going to get what? 595. So we minus it from the 720 to get 125 degrees. So X is 125 degrees. All right, so let's take a 20 seconds, take down anything you need to take down, right? And we will move on, right? And just, I know you're probably fed up here for the morning, but if you were to add up all the exterior angles now, you will get still 360 degrees. Once again, exterior angles always add up to 360. Slide is about, I think we have a little cutscene here. All right, so it seems that our protagonist has ended up in the medieval times, right? All right, so we're not going to do all the questions over here, right? Because I want to move on to some new stuff, right? The only one that I want you to do is part E, right? How much size does this shape have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So this has 7 sides. So quickly find X for me. When you add all the angles in front of you, right? I am getting 754. So we have to minus it from the 900, and let's see how much we get here. We got 146 degrees, right? So some people made some minor errors. I think you probably just add up the blue angles wrong by mistake on your calculator, but I'm pretty sure it's 146. All right. All right. So like I said, we're only doing part E because I want to move to some new stuff. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next question. Right. Let's see what's next here. So apparently, Jimmy here needs to go see the king because that's the rules in the kingdom. All visitors must. Right. 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 I don't know if you all know what the plague was back in the medieval times. There was this disease called the plague, called it the Black Death. Well, the friend looks like he has that disease here. All right. So if you had the Black Death or plague, people would shun you or not want to be around you. All right. Right. So he needs to find a disguise, otherwise he can't go around people. All right, so let me see what we have here. We don't need to, oh, these are very popular types of questions. Do you all remember what a regular shape is? Well, what do they mean by a regular shape? See if you remember from last week, a regular shape, right? Joseph, correct? Right? Right. It's two things that are all equal. In a regular shape, all the sides are equal. Now, if all the sides are equal, then all the angles itself will also be equal. So you notice they didn't give you none of the angles, but you have to know all of them are equal. So here we have a nonagon. I think this is 9 sides. Let's count it to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if it is a nonagon and there are 9 sides, then we can obviously calculate the total amount of angles by replacing the letter N with what? 9. So let's quickly do this calculation. 9 minus 2 is 7. 7 by 180 is 1260 degrees. Now, the thing about it, we only want one of the angles, X, but all of them are equal. So if there are 9 sides, obviously there's going to be 9 angles. So since all the angles are equal, we could take the total and divide it by 9. As simple as that. So when you divide it by 9, you get 140. So that means X is 140 as well as all the others going around the shape. All right. Just for practice, could you all do, you can forget F, just do this one, part E, a decagon. I think that has 10 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Since it's a regular decagon, that means all the sides as well as all the angles are equal, and they only want one of the angles. See if you can find that angle for me, please. Now it's a decagon, right? So it's 10 minus 2 multiplied by 180. So that's 8 multiplied by 180. let's see, 8 by 180 is 1440 degrees. So when you add up all the angles, you're going to get 1440. We divide it by 10 to get how much? 114 degrees. Simple, simple stuff. All right. So if you got it wrong, take down the answers. So let's see how our friend got a disguise. So his skin condition doesn't show, and people don't take him for a sick person, right? All right. All right. So his name is Zuzuk, but his friends call him Ping Pong. All right. So we'll go with that. Jimmy and Ping Pong. All right. All right. Now here's a different type of question, right? Which I saw only come a couple of times in the exam. In part A, what the examiner did is that he took a snapshot of piece of the shape. For example, in A, right? The whole shape might have looked something like this, but he only decided to draw this portion for you. The thing about it, when you draw it like this, you do not know how much sides the shape has. But it's a regular polygon. So what you at least know is that all the sides and all the angles are what? Equal. Let's see if we could backtrack and use transposing or a little algebra skills to figure out how much sides the shape has. Think about it, right? And to figure out how much sides, sorry, I'm mixing it up. This is going to be a little complicated, but you're going to have to see it about 3 or 4 times before you grasp the idea. If we wanted to find each individual angle, won't we have to find the total of all the angles inside the shape and then divide by what? The amount of sides? Do we all agree with that? Once it's a regular polygon, to find the value of each angle, we would find the total of all the angles and then divide it by the amount of sides. We just did a question like that, right? So let's put that in perspective, right? If we wanted to find the value of each angle, right? So each angle, in today's question, the value of each angle is 144. How would we find the total amount of angles? Won't we use this formula? N minus 2, right? Multiply by 180. That will give us the total amount of angles. And what letter represents the total amount of sides? What do you think I should put underneath here? N. No, not X. N. Doesn't N represent the total amount of sides? Think about it. In this formula, doesn't N represent the amount of sides? Right. Okay. So all we need to do now, right, to find N is cross multiply. Remember, 144 is the same thing as 144 on 1. So let's cross multiply, and we are going to try to solve for N. Now, this is where the algebra is going to come in, right? Let's cross multiply. Any 1 multiplied by 1 is how much? Itself. So you end up with N minus 2 multiplied by 180. And then you cross multiply the other diagonal. 144 multiplied by n is 144 n. Take down up to there. And what we're going to do after is expand the brackets and try to solve for n, right? So this question is heavy on cross multiplication from here. You all remember how brackets work? Everyone inside the brackets gets multiplied by the value outside. So everyone here has to get multiplied by 180. N multiplied by 180 is 180 n. Minus 2 multiplied by 180 is 360. Do you all think you all can solve for the letter n? Try to throw everything with n on one side, and if you don't have an n, throw it across on the other side. So use your transposing skills and find the letter n. And once you solve for n, the question is finished, because n represents the amount of sides the polygon has. And that is what the examiner was asking you for. So we want to solve for the letter n. So we have 180 n on this side. We want all the n's on the left-hand side. So this is positive 144 n. So we throw him across and we minus 144 n. And this 3 minus 360 has no n's. So we throw him across, it becomes positive 360. Remember, when you throw something across, it becomes the opposite. So we're almost finished here. How much is 180 minus 144? 180 minus 144 will give us, I'm going to run out of space here. 180 minus 144 is 36n. And this is equal to 360. We want to solve for n. This 360 is a multiply, throw him across, we get a divide. So n is what? Not 360. N is 10. Right now, a lot of people got 10, but I noticed some people did not get 10. From looking at the working now, can you spot your mistake? Please let me know in the chat, right? Because this is one of those topics that is so heavy on algebra. Without algebra and understanding how to transpose, you just cannot get out this question, right? So we're going to try part B, right? So let me set you up here. I'm going to try to work a little bit neater. For part B, once again, it's a regular polygon. So how would you find each angle, right? I'm going to use the letter X to represent the value of each individual angle, right? So you have to take the total angles and divide it by what? The total sides, amount of sides. And this formula only works for a regular polygon. And because this formula assumes all the sides have the same length. So for part B, X is the value of each individual angle. So the examiner told us it's 175. To find the total amount of angles in any polygon, it's n minus 2 multiplied by 180. Remember, we don't know the value of n. That represents the amount of sides. That is what we are trying to find. So once we find the total amount of angles, we just have to divide it by the total amount of sides. And when we do that, we will get the value of each individual angle, which the examiner told us is 175. Remember, 175 is 175 on 1. I want you all to cross multiply and use your algebra skills to find the value of n. Because I told somebody I was wrong just now. So let's cross multiply, right? So I'm going to cross multiply this diagonal first. Anything multiplied by 1 is itself. So we end up with n minus 2 multiplied by 180. And over here we have 175 by n, which will be 175n. All right, so I trust everyone has up to there at least that your cross multiplied correct. right? That's confirmed with me, right? So a lot of people are saying, yes, they have up to that line there. Now we have to be careful. We have to multiply everyone inside here by 180. N by 180 is 180 N. 2, well, minus 2 multiplied by 180 is 360. So we're trying to solve for N. So throw across this on this side. So you have 180N minus 175N, and it's equal to 360 on the other side. Because we throw across minus 360, he does not have an N, he goes on the other side. So we end up with 180 minus 175N. So you're going to get 5N is equal to 360. The 5 is our multiply, throw it across. Oh, the answer is, so that's want to make sure, is 72. 360 divided by 5. It is 72. So for the person who I told that they were wrong, I apologize. The answer is 72. My mistake. Right. All right. For those who got it wrong, like me, do you see your mistake? All right. So in D, the given angle, the individual angle is 177. So we have to cross multiply again. Anything by 1 is itself. And 177 by N is 177 N. Multiply everyone, right? The multiply everyone inside here by 180. Okay. So you get 180N minus 360. And this is equal to 177. Throw across this and throw across this because you want all the N's on the left-hand side. So 180N minus 177N is equal to 360. 180 minus 177 is 3N. You'll get 360. 3 is our multiply, throw it across, you get a divide. So you're going to get 120 sides. And just to answer a question, there's no maximum amount of sides for a shape. It could go up to infinity, right? So it could be 2 million, 3 million. There's no set limit on the amount of sides a shape could have. For those who got it wrong, you saw your mistake. Right? Let's see what the next slide holds for us. So they have to go and meet the king, but that's the king over there, right? Right, so the king is this grumpy guy there. All right, so they have to do a quest for him or something like that, right? So, all right, so here's a question where you have to put everything together now. Here we have a regular pentagon. Now, what does a regular pentagon mean again? It means that this side, this side, this side, this side, and this side, all the exterior lines around the shape are equal. But they want you to find the value of y. I'm going to give you all 2 minutes. I want you to write down this question, then try it. Well, I should give you more than 2 minutes. Take a 3 minutes to get out this particular question. And remember, it's a regular pentagon. I'll give you a hint. There's an isosceles triangle somewhere in that question. Let's just pretend for this question, right, that this doesn't exist here. Let me get a different color here, right? If this line does not exist, right? Let me say that line did not exist. So it's just a pentagon in front of you. Well, To find the total amount of angles in a pentagon, right? I think you all remember this. It would be n minus 2 multiplied by 180. That will give you the total of all the angles. This being a pentagon, it's 5 minus 2, and we're going to multiply it by 180. So it's 3 multiplied by 180, and we know this is 540 degrees. So the total amount of degrees inside the shape is 540. Well, let's find the size of each angle. So we just have to take the 540 and divide it by 5. So 540 divided by 5 is 108 degrees. Now, some people are claiming this is the final answer for the question, but that's not true. This just means every individual angle inside here. I'm not going to draw all, right? But this one is 108, this one is 108, he's 108, he's 108. He is definitely 108, and you have 2 on the side here. Everybody agrees with me up to there at least, that each individual angle is 108 degrees. Cool. But the examiner did not ask you for each individual angle. What did he ask you for? He wants the value of y. Now remember, if we only take the top of the shape, like this, right? So we take the top only. We know here is 108. We know this side and this side have the same length because it's a regular polygon. Is the horizontal line equal to the sides? Is the length of the horizontal line equal to the sides of the polygon? The answer is no. Nobody said that. The only thing that's equal, it's the angles and the external lengths. What kind of triangle is this, where you have 2 sides being equal? Right, that's definitely an isosceles triangle. So couldn't you all find angle y now? Y is just this, is one of the base angles in the isosceles triangle. So what you were supposed to do is take 180, because all the angles in a triangle add up to 180. You're supposed to minus the 108. And when you get that, no, Jevon, check it back. When you take the 180 and minus the 108, you will get 72 degrees. But that 72 is going to be split equally in between the 2 base angles. So you have to divide that by 2 to get each individual base angle. And you're going to get 36 degrees. So y is 36 degrees. Right? For those who got it wrong, go through the working, make sure you understand your mistake, and let me know on the chat, please. But they have a quest for them, right? So apparently his son here, this guy in the middle here, stole a talking skull from an evil fish wizard. Not too sure how this is going to turn out. Right, so I guess the wizard is angry that something has been stolen from him, and he's been attacking the castle, apparently on Sundays. All right. So here's what. I'm going to skip these questions. But I wonder if I could do one of them. The only one I could see you all getting in the exam, like for Form 3 level, right, is probably this one here. I want you all to find, well, actually, we'll try 2 of them just to make sure. I want you all to find angle X. Now, we have to assume in these questions, the examiner didn't tell you, but I am telling you. These are regular shapes, meaning all the sides have the same length. This here are 2 pentagons glued together, but they want you to find angle X, which is on the outside. We'll do a couple of them just in case you get it for you. for your form 2, or, well, most likely form the middle of form 2 or the end of form 3, somewhere around there, you'll get questions like this. Remember, each of them is a pentagon, and not just a pentagon, a regular pentagon. So that means all the angles are the same. So a pentagon has 5 sides. 5 minus 2 multiplied by 180. So it's 3 multiplied by 180, and by now we know we're going to get 540. So the total amount of angles in each shape is 540. Divided by 5, because it has 5 equal angles. 540 divided by 5 is 108 degrees. So that means each of these angles inside here is 108, sorry, and each angle here is also 108. But more importantly, this angle is 108, and this angle is 108. For those who didn't understand it so far, we clear on the 108, like we understand by this little boundary here, where X is living. We know here is 108, and over here is 108, right? So I zoom into this area here. If I were to complete this, what shape would I get by that junction here? Isn't that a circle? If we were to combine all 3 angles, we would get a circle. In a circle, all the angles add up to 360. So if you have 108 and another 108 already, shouldn't you add these 2 and minus it from 360 to find X? Right. Do that, 108 plus 108, and whatever you get, minus it from 360, and you will get the value of X. This angle here, when you work it out, is 144 degrees. 144. For the hexagon, where there are 6 sides, right? So let me use my color code this. I'll use black for the hexagon, right? 6 minus 2 multiplied by 180, because it has 6 sides. So 6 minus 2 is 4. So 4 multiplied by 180 is 720. And there are 6 sides. So we divide it by 6 and we get 120. So inside the hexagon, each of the angles is 120, all of them. But I only care about the one by the X junction. For the octagon, there are 8 sides. So it's 8 minus 2, which is 6. So 6 multiplied by 180 is 1080. And you have to divide it by 8 because it's 8 angles. And we get in 135. So at this junction, it's 135. And we know the full junction is 360 degrees. So we add the 120, the 135, and minus it from 360. And the final answer is 105 degrees. X is 105. For those who got 117, I think I know what you do. What you did wrong. The 1080, instead of dividing it by 8, I think you divide by 6 by mistake, or something like that. But look for your error and let me know if you spotted your mistake, please.